Okay, so let's kind of get into this a little bit. So you are seeking what surgery?
So for a couple of reasons, I might be pronouncing it wrong, but I've been told orchiectomy.
A few weeks ago, Matt Walsh had one of his producers call a healthcare provider named Plume that supports trans health and asked him to set up an appointment. The producer gave a woman's name, pronouns, the whole 9 yards, and proceeded to go with this scheme. Trust me when I tell you, you won't believe this. Hey Matthew, got a question for you. What's a woman? I bet you wouldn't be able to answer me that question, even though you're the one that came up with that nonsensical statement. I mean, you're so proud of that statement, you have it plastered in the background of your video. Like, you think you did something with that little question. And what's up with the banjo? Can you even play that thing? But that question, what is a woman? That shit makes you feel big, doesn't it, Matty boy? See, when the right sees respect, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what respect is. So instead of seeing respect, they see fear. Respect to them is fear. And that's why Matt and all these right-wing goons act like this. They act like bigots. At the beginning of his video, Matt starts explaining how he tore his Achilles while playing street basketball in his driveway. And that's when the confusion started entering. You play basketball?
Hey, yo, man, you said we was going to Sizzler.
Oh, man, shut your anorexic, malnutrition, tapeworm having, overdose, Dick Gregory, Bahamian diet drinking ass up. Leave me alone.
See, I would have believed you if you said that you were a dad watching your children play basketball and you accidentally slipped in the bleachers and tore your Achilles. That I would have believed. But you said you played basketball. Sure you did.
I had finally been officially diagnosed with a torn Achilles, at which point I was informed of all the options and the risks that accompany each option. And of course, the only reasonable option was to get a surgery to repair the Achilles, but still I had to be informed that, for example, doing nothing and letting it heal on its own was a path that could be chosen, though it certainly was not recommended. I decided to go with the surgery. It's all a pretty standard experience, nothing harrowing or really interesting about that. And that's really the point, because here's what didn't happen. I didn't make a 22-minute video call and get approved for the surgery based on my claims alone. They didn't give me an Achilles surgery merely because I said I wanted one. They didn't simply take my word for it. And if the doctor had looked at me and looked at the MRI and determined that my Achilles was not torn, he wouldn't have given me the surgery anyway just to affirm my feelings that it was torn. That's not how medicine works.
That is literally how medicine works, but just hold on 1 second there. Are you comparing an Achilles injury to somebody that understands their body, mind, and feelings, which could all be branched under mental health and basic human rights? But I know what you're doing here, Matthew. You think that doctors should not go by someone's feelings on what they need done on their body. Doctors shouldn't go by my feelings of me changing whatever the I want on my body. Is that what you're saying here? You think that there should be physical proof of what you need done to your body before the doctor commences any surgeries? Is that what I'm getting here? Then please explain plastic surgery to me. I want a new nose. Plastic surgeon says, but why? Your nose looks great. Because I want a new nose? I hate this one. I don't feel right with this one. This is not me. Fix it. Now, guess how the surgeon is gonna retort, okay? Well, here's what we gotta do first. The situation that you put your producer in is the exact same thing that I just explained.
It's been 24 hours since we published the results of our undercover investigation into the single largest quote-unquote trans healthcare provider in the United States. The provider we're talking about is called Plume, and it operates in 41 states. It's backed by some of the biggest insurance companies and VCs in the country, and it's totally fraudulent.
And why is it totally fraudulent? Could you take a second to explain that to us, Matthew? See, I took a moment to look up Plume, and I gotta say, this is incredible. I didn't even know this existed. Thank you, Matt, for showing this to me. Now I'm gonna promote the living hell out of it. But this website goes into vast details regarding trans care, trans health care, transitioning, what you need to know about estrogen and testosterone. I mean, they really give you all the information you need to help you become the person that you wanna be and that you deserve to be.
In case you missed it, the other day, after a 22-minute video call, just 22 minutes, Plume approved one of my producers for an orchiectomy orchiectomy, which means testicle removal. No one at Plume had seen my producer's name is Greg before that call. They didn't verify any of his information, which was obviously made up. They didn't double check the phony legal name he provided. They didn't bat an eye when Greg identified as Chelsea Bussey and claimed to be a strong, independent woman in need of immediate castration.
Hold on, Matt. Do you know what feelings are? Should I make that my stupid statement like Matt has what is a woman? I'll make it, what is a feeling? And I could be like Matt and go around and ask right-wingers what feelings are, because apparently Matt is living proof that they don't know anything about feelings. Of course the healthcare providers at Plume aren't gonna ask anything about that, because they just assume that you're not a bigot trying to get views because of this. And by lying about getting your cut off, they just assume that you're telling the truth, because as obvious as it is, you don't know anything about internal feelings and the human brain. These healthcare providers do. And they're gonna do anything that they can to help this person become the person that they wanna be. Yes, Matt, it's that simple.
No one at Plume thought that there was anything odd about all of this, even though Greg made precisely zero effort to pass as a woman, clearly had no idea what an orchiectomy would entail or what it even means. Plume just rubber stamped Greg for testicle removal. All he had to do was send $150 for the letter. And in return, Plume sent Greg a letter saying that he has gender dysphoria so that insurance would pay for his testicle removal, even though he repeatedly told them that he didn't have gender dysphoria.
Of course the healthcare provider's gonna put that person under gender dysphoria. Why the wouldn't they, Matt? He called a place that takes these people very seriously when it comes to becoming who they want to be naturally. So if your producer called Plume acting as serious as can be, they would take him serious and proceed with the surgery. What is so hard to understand about this?
The same insurance companies that will invent a fake dysphoria diagnosis for a quote-unquote trans patient will often refuse to cover healthcare for detransitioners on the basis that they don't have dysphoria. In other words, if you say you're trans, then healthcare providers will happily cook the books and say you have dysphoria, even if you don't. But if you say you're detransitioning and you're not a member of the preferred class of transgenders, then insurers deny your coverage because your identity now aligns with your biological sex. You see how that works?
Oh no, you're not gonna spew that much bullshit and not give one piece of information backing up your bullshit. I'm gonna need sources, Matthew. Provide them. Or I call bullshit. Most insurance companies won't cover anything. They won't even cover you if you have a pre-existing condition. Most of them only cover a fraction of your bill anyway. But you're saying the insurance company won't cover detransitioning, but will cover transitioning? Make that make sense.
This politically motivated barbarism, which is totally incoherent, is supposedly the bleeding edge of trans healthcare. You can see footage of Greg's call with Plume on Twitter. We published a lot of it, although fair warning, as Elon Musk said in response to all this, it is disturbing to say the least. And it will completely destroy your faith in modern medicine, assuming you had any faith left, which you probably shouldn't by now.
Why should I? The mRNA vaccine alone shoots down your nonsensical statement. Unfortunately, thanks to COVID in a bittersweet way, modern medicine has fast-forwarded and expanded by 10 years. For the first time in modern medicine, we think mRNA technology can actually cure cancer and many other viruses and diseases, including my illness, Crohn's disease, or my wife's multiple sclerosis. This man is literally lying to his audience, and they're believing every second of it. It's because they don't think trans people are people. Fascism at its finest. But let me show you that video call with Matt's producer and Plume.
Taking 6 milligrams a day.
Twice a day. Yeah, right, you got it.
So you're taking 1.5 tablets
a
day? Okay, so let's kind of get into this a little bit. So you are seeking what surgery?
So for a couple of reasons, it's I might be pronouncing it wrong, but I've been told orchiectomy, right?
Of course, you probably know the things that are irreversible when it comes to estrogen-based therapy is breast development and testicular shrinkage, right? But there's always a possibility for hair growth to come back. That may change with orchiectomy. Once you stop, once you don't no longer have your testes, you no longer have the ability for your teeth to convert to BHT because you don't have as much teeth, right? So hair growth, facial and body hair may change after orchiectomy. Fat redistribution is affected by the estrogen. So you may have less of a change in fat redistribution if you ever stop eating, but it may change as a whole. So it kind of does have a benefit without the spironolactone, but you still probably would definitely want to take estrogen as long as you would like.
I'm not complaining about the daily pills, just to be clear. I'm just saying if it accelerates it and makes things faster, then that's better.
And what's wrong with this call? Matt is acting like something drastic happened and he has to immediately show it to the public. All you showed me was a nurse having a consultation call with her patient. What was supposed to frighten us here? Please, let me know if you see anything out of the ordinary in this call, because I didn't see anything wrong. If you did, please comment below, let me know, and I'll see you in the comment section. But if you're enjoying the video so far, my friends, please turn that thumb blue. Let's get it to more leftists and progressives. I appreciate that, my friends. Thank you so much.
Just casually talking about cutting balls off is all. And, you know, the one thing that, well, there are a lot of things that jump out at you when you watch that, the clip, and you see that we have more footage that you can go to the Twitter thread and see. But it's this the casual nature, and Greg's making no effort to, you know, there's not a lot of acting involved in this on his end. It's just, he's like, yeah, you know, I've been told that, you know, I should get an orchiectomy. He pronounces it wrong. He can't even pronounce the surgery that he's getting.
Yeah, two people just casually talking about cutting balls off. And you forgot to mention that a medical setting is the key point here. And just because you can't pronounce the medical term of the surgery you're getting, you shouldn't be able to get that surgery? All right, Matt, let me ask you something. How do you pronounce this surgery? Because I couldn't tell you. This surgery is to fix a severe snoring problem. So you better not call the doctor and try to get your snoring problem fixed if you don't know how to say this word. Do you see how asinine you sound, dude?
Now, maybe if you're playing devil's advocate as you watch that, you might be tempted to think, well, Greg fooled them. He's a master deceiver. Plume did nothing wrong, you might say. They had every reason to believe that Greg was really Chelsea bussy and he was really dysphoric and there were no red flags in the call whatsoever. In case you're contemplating that position for whatever reason, I want to zoom in CSI style on a particular screen grab from Greg's conversation with Plume. Here it is. Now, this is the moment that Plume's nurse told Greg about the consequences of removing his testicles. Okay, so this is a man finding out what it means to have your testicles cut off. Now I want you to notice, again, he's making no effort at all. He's making no effort at all to you know, pretend that he knows what's going on when he goes into this, making no effort at all. Notice his reaction to the news that he's about to lose his gonads. He doesn't seem happy about it.
So, because he's making these faces, you're saying the doctor should have immediately stopped this? In August, I'm gonna be getting my digestive system rerouted. My Crohn's disease is that severe that they have to cut out 2 feet of my intestines. The part that they're cutting out has the ileum in it, which is the section where the large intestine and the small intestine meet. They have to cut out that part, which means that they have to take the newly severed small intestine, make a hole, an artificial hole in my large colon, and then cauterize it to that hole so it can heal. Basically making a new ass for me. Now, imagine my face sitting in the doctor's office, hearing the surgeon explain that surgery to me. What kind of faces do you think I was making? You think I was just sitting there, smiling, enjoying life? Absolutely not. I know for a fact that I made worse faces than this.
That's striking because it goes without saying that any reasonable and ethical healthcare provider would have taken one look at Greg and listened to him and said, this is ridiculous. Or at the very least, a reasonable and ethical provider would have pushed back a little bit against the idea that Greg needed his testicles removed. But Plume never did that. They just took Greg's money and sent him a letter authorizing his castration. He said he wanted it, so he got it.
Yeah, that's typically how medicine works, Matt. That's what doctors are here to do. Help you not be sick. Help you become the person that you want to be. Help you be happy.
And as we reported on Twitter, this fraud extends far beyond Plume. Several other trans healthcare services that operate in nearly every state in the country, like Folx, F-O-L-X, for example, are doing the same thing. So what now? That's always the key question after an investigation like this. What are people saying about it? Is there going to be any change? Or are we all just going to move on to the next thing and forget about it? Well, over at Media Matters, predictably, they're hoping you ignore our investigation entirely. One of their flacks wrote this, quote, if you're an adult and you want to remove your testicles, it is not the job of a medical professional to stop you, and it certainly is not Matt Walsh's job either. This is not difficult. The principle that the Media Matters flack is outlining is indeed pretty simple. also stupid. It's that adults can do whatever they want. If an adult wants to carve up his testicles, then that's his right.
Wow, Matt, I gotta give you a round of applause. Good job. You're absolutely right. Adults can do whatever the they want. As long as it is legal, that's how things work. And I gotta know, why do you care so passionately about someone wanting to get their gonads removed? Are you afraid that someone will push you to do it? I know that this sounds ridiculous, but I gotta tell you, this investigation that he's doing is literally one of the most ridiculous, asinine things that I've seen someone do on the right here on YouTube. And the guy going around embarrassing himself, asking what a woman is behind this It's priceless.
Well, the problem with that analysis from Media Matters is that, of course, first of all, it's depraved and insane. Any moral person would not stand by while someone else butchers themselves. I mean, if you saw someone about to stab himself in the stomach or cut off his own hand or his testicles, you, I would hope, wouldn't sit there and say, well, adults have the right to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I actually would. Will I be happy about it? No. Will I try to talk them out of it? Absolutely. But if they won't listen and believe that they would be much better off without an arm, then hack away, man. Have fun. Who am I to tell you not to do it?
Rights have nothing to do with it. Just like if someone's about to jump off a bridge and kill themselves, hopefully you would try to intervene rather than say, well, it's his right. It's his right.
How dare you compare an orchiectomy to suicide? You are literally a sick dude if you believe that is equal to suicide. I'm just not gonna break down this section of the video because I believe those two shouldn't even be in the same sentence.
But this is irrelevant anyway because patients don't remove their own testicles. Doctors remove patients' testicles, and in the process, these doctors claim to have a medical basis for the procedure, which we have now proven is a total lie.
This isn't testicular cancer we're talking about here, dude, where a doctor would have a reason to remove it all. A reason you vastly agree with, I presume. But if someone asks for that same surgery, trying to become their pure self, you say that they shouldn't allow to do that. Valid proof isn't always provided with physical evidence. Proof can also come with psychological evidence that sometimes doesn't have physical proof, but is understood as evidence. Throughout the next 4 minutes of his video, Matt goes into different doctors that believe what Plume is doing is abhorrent and shouldn't be allowed in medicine. He mentions a doctor out of Texas, which that should tell you everything, named Mary Bowden, where she word vomits all over trans care, and I'm paraphrasing, calls transitioning not natural. But what Matthew never mentioned to you is that Dr. Bowden has a complaint filed against her from the Texas Medical Board for prescription and patient confidentiality violations. Yep, I'm gonna take this doctor's word on everything.
So the question is, if these trans telehealth services are so obviously fraudulent, what can we do about them? What's gonna happen that will shut this down and save thousands of patients from this butchery?
Dude said butchery. Hey, while we're at the topic of butchery, is this yours? Are you showing off your plug, Matthew? Oh, Matt, you dirty.
You dirty old man.
We have reached out to the attorneys general of the states where this fraud is happening, including in Tennessee. We can confirm right now that the Tennessee Attorney General's office says that they will look into this. We're also waiting to hear from Senator Marsha Blackburn, who we understand will issue a statement soon. And we have received some responses from other key officials. Jack Johnson, the Senate Majority Leader in Tennessee, where both Plume and folks operate, issued this statement, quote, "Another disgusting attempt to label the mutilation of children as healthcare. I appreciate Matt Walsh for exposing this deranged behavior. This is a real battle, and it is a real battle that we will win."
Ooh, so scary. Calling your Nazi right-wing senators from Tennessee to help you win this battle. Ladies, gens, and my non-binary friends, I promise you, there is no battle, and there'll never be a battle, because what these people are trying to stop is something that they'll never be able to stop. Remember, fascism always collapses, and so will these people. But here's my question of the week. Should doctors question you about any surgery that you want done to your body? Comment below, let me know, and I'll see you in the comment section. But if you need more Republicans say the darndest things, check out my next video right here. And if you can, please support the channel on Patreon. That would mean the world to me. I will leave those links right here and in the description below. As always, come join my private Discord, get early access to all of my videos, private lives, podcasts, and much more. I hope to see you there. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly leftist videos, and I am